Okay. Hi all. Welcome to the VOLTHA weekly TST call. So I have just copied the agenda from what we had previously because there are a few things which need update on. So I'll go through. We'll start going through one by one. Um, First one is obvious on the VSTN. Jan, you would
Yeah,
like to
I
give
can
Yep.
present a couple of slides. If you
Sure.
stop sharing, I can
Yep. Right.
give you an update here. You should see my slides, I hope.
Yes.
So we have already discussed the other milestones in the last couple of meetings. So the two milestones that we're currently working on are 132 and 14. 132 is in regards to the aggregation switch and its upgrade and all this stuff. So from our side, I think we're through all of these processes. So basically the old ONOS controlled edge core one was replaced with the new Dell one. The documentation can be found in the wiki. I hope everybody now has access to that. We documented all of the VLAN configuration, aligned it with the drawings that have been sent around and are also part of the wiki. So that's this whole thing here. So this cabling with the aggregation switch and the VLAN configuration. There's some more diagrams which specifically show VLAN configurations between ONUs and OLTs and also the aggregation switch. So all of this stuff should be there. Since the OLTs were not functional and are still not fully functional, we can't really test this milestone with those. So we tested the VLAN configuration with some virtual machines and some additional cabling. So from our side, that looks fine. Regarding the acceptance criteria, the only thing from our side that we think that is missing is that the TST or the relevant stakeholders here basically review the documentation and approve this whole thing. So that's something that I would ask the TST to do until ideally end of the week. And then we would consider this milestone as done if there is no specific things or any kind of feedback from the TST side until end of the week. Does that work for everybody?
Yep. Sure.
Ian, hi, this is Tarkant.
Hi.
I wasn't aware that we can access the documentation right now. So what changed, by the way?
I don't know what changed. So there's this confluence, right? So this is wiki.lfbroadband.org.
Yeah.
And
But yeah,
I
from
think
the
like
last week,
Mahir went through a couple of rounds with Eric and with the TST members here to make sure everybody has access. I don't know if you don't, then maybe Eric is also here.
Last week, at least for me, I still didn't have the access. This week I haven't tried yet, but last week it was the case.
So I wasn't in this meeting last week.
Yeah, you were not.
Did we want to open the access to this or just grant all the individuals access?
I think we need individual access, Eric. Mahir haven't communicated with you regarding this?
No.
Okay. So yeah, let me ping him and let's make this access work. So what do you need, Eric, by the way, for the individual access? Our usernames for the wiki?
Yes.
Okay, got it. I'll ping
as
Mahir.
long as I have that, it will just take a second.
Okay, thank you.
So Serkant, if you know your username right now, it might be done before the end of the meeting.
I have multiple usernames. I need to check what I'm using. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I would ask everybody to review this and then give feedback until end of the week. And then we would, if there is no negative feedback, we can, I think, consider this part as done. The other part here, milestone M14, is about the OLTs themselves. So there's 3 OLTs, basically. The EdgeCore ones have been removed. There is the Redisys OLT, the RLT 1600X. With the help of Abhilash today, I was able to finally access the console and basically install all of the needed things. We also updated already the corresponding pipeline configuration, and let me just quickly open this part. So this is the one of the pipelines running in the Berlin Community Lab on pod 1 that was targeting the EdgeCore OLT before. It is now targeting the Radisys OLT. The relevant steps that got finished today are the last 2 here, basically the reinstall, also basically switching the old OLTs and switching the configuration. So this is the reinstall OLT step. And this is basically the installation of the corresponding OpenOLT package for this thing. So all of this went through fine. So we should be able to now patch the corresponding status files and then see if we can test with this. So this part looks good now. For the Atran side, this is currently, I guess, somewhere in a dialogue between the Linux Foundation and Atran. I don't know if there's any updates. Maybe Eric?
I'm still working with them.
Okay. Okay, cool. So basically, we really need the image, otherwise this thing is blocked and we can't really move anything forward here.
Actually, is there any way that, because I think I have access to it, can I provide something to you, or could we set up a proxy for it somewhere? Because
Absolutely.
the blocker right now is getting you guys via SDN access. Like was it Nils over there asked
Yeah.
me to get you guys Linux Foundation email addresses. And I was like, well, I can't really do that, but
Yeah.
I can grant them, like, please give these 2 people access. Like, if you would do it if they had email addresses, why can't you just do it because we're having a direct communication and I'm asking you to?
Yeah, that's also something I didn't really understand. But I mean, like, if
Yeah.
you can somehow play proxy here, that would be amazing because that would speed up the whole process. I don't really want to do a big bureaucracy here in terms of like who has which email addresses and whatnot. If it's okay from all sides, and as far as I understood, that should be. I'm fine with like downloading those images from a Google Drive, basically. So that's what we did for the Radisys things, right? So I just need the images somewhere, and I think there should be an image and some kind of probably a software package that should be installed on top, but Niels must know. And we really just need access, and then I can set up a meeting with Atran again. And they should then give us instructions how to install that. So that can then be just BSD and Atran. But I think for the exchange of this image binary and the software package, you would need to play proxy or more email ping pong. I don't know.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Then the Zyxel OLT is still in the rack. I got the feedback from DT side that there's discussions with Zyxel and maybe there might be some support at some point. We have been testing a bit with that and seeing how it works. I mean, we can still use the old image. Not sure how far we get with that. So to really finish this, we would need some support from Zyxel, or we would need to exclude this basically from the upgraded and fully functional part, because we obviously can't upgrade if the vendor is not supporting us. Yeah, so this is basically the status where we're currently going through. There is a bunch of merge requests upcoming for the different repositories. So if there is any specific interest from the TST to get notified on those changes, I'm more than happy to add more people to reviews here. So far, we have been iterating relatively quickly through that. Also with a lot of help from Eric, so thank you there for patching a couple of the testing pipelines that were blocking there. And I would hope that we can, at least with the Radisys OLT, move forward during this week, and ideally have some actual testing pipelines sometime next week. But so far, that would only be Radisys, and then maybe Zyxel with the old image. For Atran, we need this proxy part, and then we can move this forward. Yeah, I think that is most of it. Yeah, there was one more thing. Mahir was asking if it's possible to grant TST members access to the community lab itself. And I think there was a general confusion in who can grant access to what. So as Eric already said, Eric can grant access to this whole wiki part, because this is handled by the Linux Foundation. Access to the physical lab here is currently behind a VPN, and BISDN is currently managing this VPN. We would obviously at a certain point want to hand over that, but at the moment we are managing that. We can grant people access to that. It's just that everybody needs to be aware, if you have access to that VPN, you have access to all of the infrastructure behind that, meaning you have access to the, for example, to the OLTs, which obviously all have this default password stuff and whatnot, with binaries on them that might not be open to, or should not be open to, everybody. And I just would like to avoid that BISDN, while granting access here, is causing conflicts in terms of, I don't know, Radisys would not like Netsia to access their OLT, or the other way around, or I don't know what. I know that there were some issues last year. I don't know if everything is resolved and it's now perfectly fine that everybody has access. We can totally create those credentials. I just would like to not be the one that accidentally grants access to people that were not supposed to have access. So that would be something as a question towards the TST to please tell me what who should have access and how we want to do this here.
Sure, I've taken this point, Ian. I think so. We'll discuss it further and see how we can proceed with this.
Okay, cool. Think this is everything from my side for now. So OLTs are our main focus now. I hope we can move Atran forward, and then we would have Atran, Radisys, and an old version of the Zyxel one. And then we should be able to finish this milestone, hopefully relatively soon. And then the last two parts to finish the lab setup itself would be create a bunch more documentation, test a bunch of things, create some more backups or processes for the backups, and then we would continue focusing on the pipelines and hopefully get those to run. So if there's any questions, please just feel free, ask me. I might be able to answer them, maybe not.
For
John,
the OLT.
Sorry, the first part was...
Yeah, Serkant is talking. So for the Zyxel OLT, is there anything that we can do? And also, do you know why the old image is not working, or is it working and we want to upgrade?
So
what is the issue?
Yeah, so the definition of the milestone basically was to get all of the OLT models to the latest and greatest states so that we have some kind of support from the individual OLT vendor in case, I don't know, the dev management daemon crashes or there's some BAL issues or whatnot, right? Last year we talked to Zyxel, and Zyxel told us they have not tested for a very long time with VOLTHA, and if we want to continue with VOLTHA on Zyxel, we would need to update. But then basically that was more or less the end of the discussion because we decided within the TST that we will not continue with Zyxel for now. Now, this year, 12 months later, basically, the Zyxel is still there, and DTS asked us to leave it in the rack because there might be an interest in like continuing with that, and there might be support from Zyxel. So that's basically the part that is missing now. We can continue with the image. Some things are working, but obviously, in terms of finishing the milestone, upgraded, fully functional, latest and greatest, vendor supported, we can't do that without the vendor.
Okay, so are you in touch with the Zyxel right now, or?
I think DT is somehow. At least that's my what I got as a feedback. If there is anybody else that has contacts there or could like set up an email with like copying me or something, I don't know. Like I would be more than happy to assist in the process of updating that, but I cannot create these links of which OLT vendor should be in the lab and who is interested in that and how does the whole support thing work.
I mean, we can get in touch with the guys.
Yeah, cool.
I'll send an email first, but I need to talk with Mahir and then let's see.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Okay, that's everything from my side. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Jan. Sharing. Okay, I've just captured what all we discussed for now. And moving on, any questions to Jan on this from anyone? Okay. Yeah. Next, moving on to the test suite. So we see that if at all we have to run test suites with a private branch. Okay, because and also the Gerrit doesn't allow us to create a private branch and run the test suites manually. Here we have fixed some things in the Volta system test repo, and we would like to give it a run before we get it merged. I think so. This is the only way. Like we create a private branch and then give it a run. But Eric, can you please help with this? Or it shouldn't also be like whenever we want to test, we go to Eric and ask for help. I think so. There should be a different or a different way to do this. I'm not sure how we can do this, but there should be one.
Let me try granting owner permissions and see if that enables you to create your own branches.
Okay, sure. That would help. We'll give it a try and we'll see if that works out.
Okay.
I think so. That shouldn't be a problem.
Which repo is this?
Volta system tests.
Okay.
I can give you the link. Okay. I'll just put an update here. Sorry. And next is on the memory consumption. I see a few comments on this, but I would still like everyone to just have a look and please share your comments. There are a few failures in the UT which we are working on, but changes are there. Whatever changes are needed from the code perspective are all there. Serkan, got a chance to check on this? The memory consumption in the ONU adapter?
No, Abhilash, unfortunately not.
Okay. I can please
I
just
can, yeah, please.
yeah,
I'll
just
do
spend
that
some time.
that way.
Okay, because here these two have a bit of changes, a bit of major changes. At least the memory reduction part has some, and I just want to have everyone to look from the TST side before we think of merging it.
I think for that patch, Abhilash, Zafer Kaban from Argela was looking into it, right? He had
Yes, I
some.
see a few. Yeah, I see a few comments from him.
Okay.
Now turn left.
Okay. The same with this as well. The reconcile part. If any questions, feel free to ping me. I can explain again or clarify. We'll do the version update file. I think so. That one is still pending, which we can do, but the code changes are already in place. And next is on the PPPoE. I see few comments from Serkan. So Amit is working on it. Comments will be addressed by this week.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Serkan, for the review. So once the comments are addressed, hopefully we should be able to merge this. And for release 12 in the Jira, Eric, to give the permissions to TST to release. I'm not sure if it's done. Eric, anything on this?
No. No, sorry. I haven't received a request for that. Just let me post the
Okay.
support Jira in the chat. Just a reminder that if you need to request something like that, just do it at support.linuxfoundation.org. Because I don't have
Okay.
a ticket for that, so.
I think so. Maher created one. I'm not sure for which one. Let me just go to the.
Okay. I haven't
Okay,
seen it.
this. Okay,
No, that
sorry.
was for
This is
yeah.
for the VPN access, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fine. I'll raise a ticket for this.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. And on the VGC, I think so. It's done. I was on vacation. Sorry, Eric. I don't know if it's done, but let me know if I think so. It was just about publishing the images to the Docker. The rest of the things were in place.
Yeah, I opened a change for that and have just been waiting for feedback.
Okay, I'll check.
Yeah, just give me a review on that.
Sure. That's all I had. Anything? Floor is open. Anyone wants to add any items or discuss any items? Feel free. This is what I had.
I have one question in regards to the AWS side of testing, so all of the BBSIM tests and those things. So far, we have not like done too crazy changes to the pipelines or the Helm charts or the deployments for the physical one. But obviously on the physical side, we are now on the latest Kubernetes version, on the latest Ubuntu version, all those things. And there will be foreseeable issues when running the BBSIM tests on, I don't know, a 4-year-old Kubernetes version on a Ubuntu 18.04, which is deprecated and not supported and whatnot. And on the other hand, trying to run that on the latest and supported version. So is there planned work, ongoing work for updating those things on the BBSIM side?
No, nothing is planned as of now.
So my question is mainly because there will be a point when we will need to push patches to make the physical pipelines in the Berlin lab working, but those patches at the same time will break the BBSIM patches, or will break the BBSIM pipelines. I mean, you can try to avoid that by writing a lot more crazy if else whatever conditions around these tests, but that will make the code even more unmaintainable. So the better solution here would be to update the AWS site, which means like newer images, like not 18.04, but probably 22 or 24.04 as base image for Ubuntu, and then more or less recent Kubernetes version.
Okay. Let me take a point on that.
So I really just wanted to mention that because like we can obviously try to work around that, but like adding more if whatever conditions, and will completely split those two pipelines at a certain point, right? And
yeah,
that might not be exactly what we want.
got it.
Thank you.
Yeah, eventually we will have to update at some point of time, probably. This would be the better, because once we have workarounds, it'll be difficult to maintain, as you mentioned. Okay, I'll just check with Mahir. We'll sync up, and then we'll see how we can go it. Again, it needs time. Most probably the Ubuntu and Kubernetes versions, if we upgrade, it should work. We don't need to do much changes on the Helm chart side, most probably, or at least nothing from the code side should be changed. I'll just check. I think so. This will come again to Eric, because since it's on the AWS side, I'll sync up with Mahir and come up how we can do this fast.
So the main part of the changes will be package versions, obviously, that are not available anymore on 22 or 24.04 that were available 6 years ago in the Ubuntu 18. And the other part is for Kubernetes, if you upgrade that, there will be a bunch of upgrades in terms of API endpoints that are also that basically have been deprecated and removed in the last 4 years. So that means like upgrading the Helm charts and upgrading a lot of the definitions there. I hope that it's not too much, but there is this split exactly. This is basically the part that I meant. Like we will need to update those at a certain point to be able to run on the new Kubernetes cluster in the Berlin lab. And at that point, the old Kubernetes and the old Ubuntu will basically tell us, I have no idea what API version you're talking about, because that's not existent here, basically. So we need to like tackle that at one point, rather sooner than later. Cool. Thank you.
Sure. At least Helm charts will or may have a change, definitely, because if we are running very old 4 years ago, definitely there will be. Sure, I'll check. Okay. Any other points? Okay. Thanks all. Thanks for your time.
Thank
Have
you.
a good day,
Thank
good
you.
evening.
All the best.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Thanks.